yeah, you're doing all right. When I started Dungeons and Dragons way back at 77, players' handbooks, dungeon masters' handbooks, didn't know what they were. So what we did was follow the instructions. A lot of us got Dungeons and Dragons from a number of sources. So some people stumbled into it by accident, and they had a friend who played it, or a parent bought it them. Perhaps they saw it in a shop. Perhaps they managed to acquire little bits of it from somewhere, an older sibling. Some, like me, didn't even know we'd ordered it and arrived by accident. And we played from what we'd got. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how we did our very first, how I did our. I'm saying our like the whole world did it this way. I know this is all very personal. I'm sorry about I'm going to make it sound like everyone in the world did it the same way. And no, we didn't. So this is how my group tackled character generation, and then I'm going to follow it through, because I'm going to go from how we started to what I do now, which for me has become the perfect way of generating characters. This, for those of you who don't recognise it, is my first Dungeons and Dragons module, Tomb of Horrors. So I've no evidence of how to create a character, except at the back it says this, assigning characters to players. So you look down, number of players, we had 4, and you looked at that and it went, they're possible characters. Then you turn to the roster, you look down and you say, oh, on the page before it said we could have number 5, that's an elf, and then it gives you all of his statistics. So he's got a strength of 17. We didn't roll for them, that's the point. That was our way of playing the early modules, and the next set of modules were very similar. So for example, this is the Palace of the Silver Princess. Ready to play characters. You didn't have to use ready to play characters, you could generate your own. Now, in the early days, what that meant was you threw 3d6 for all of your characteristics, and you got some peculiar results, but you were meant to look at your results and then choose who you were. So you write down strength, and I throw 3d6 for everything. I got a 9. That tells me he cannot be a dwarf, because a dwarf needs 12 plus strength, because dwarves are strong. Wisdom, he threw 13. Now 12 or more, you could be a cleric, a wizard, or an elf. So I'm thinking 9. Strength is okay, that could be a wizard, I'm thinking at that time. Then for dexterity, I threw 16. Now 16 is huge. You're looking at, as a dexterity, that's for archery and things in the early Dungeons and Dragons. Speed and everything, climbing and running across roofs. That's perfect for an elf, maybe a halfling or a ranger. But then constitution, I threw 8. That's really sickly. Constitution is horrible. So whoever he is, he's very weak and sickly. Do I want to play a very weak and sickly anything? Well, I'm stuck with that. I've no choice. I'm less than the average 9. Charisma. Here we go. Oh, no, an 8. He's ugly. Socially inept. So he can't be an elf. So I scrap elf out the dexterity 16. So now I'm left with ugly halfling or ugly sickly ranger. I don't want to be either of them. But that's what I'm stuck with now. Intelligence, I got 14. That's good. You're looking at elf, wizard, cleric. We've already said he's not an elf. He's ugly as sin. So now we're looking at, he could be a wizard, or he could be a sickly cleric. And his list of jobs now presents itself. He could be an assassin. Won't be a very good one. He might cough on him, I suppose. A spy. A thief, a scholar, an alchemist, or a sick and ailing wizard. None of those appeal to me. But that's the character I'm stuck with for the game, for the rest of the game. And the character that I'm supposed to want to keep alive, because I'm desperate to play the same character for as long as possible. I've no incentive to play him for as long as possible. It does me head in. I want him dead. I want to roll a new character. So then we tried other things. We tried allowing the players to have an extra D6 that you threw, where you could put that score anywhere you liked to modify it. That was one thing we did. Another thing we did, then we moved right away from throwing dice and we said, okay, let's compare ourselves to a character in a book or in the real world, like an athlete, and you can do what they can do. So if you want to be a human and you want to be like Conan the Barbarian, what does Conan the Barbarian do? He can do that. So can you. Or you want to be a wizard, you want to be Gandalf, you want to be Merlin. So you can write your characteristics based on that. You don't need to throw dice for them. We can work them out. And that meant people could be who they wanted to be, but you lost the air of excitement in not knowing and having to play somebody who wasn't who you want them to be. Like the ailing chap that I threw before. As a youngster, I was sick and weak, and I might have had a low constitution. I might still have wanted to join an adventuring party because I'm that sort of guy, but that's why I wasn't getting picked for sport, because I was sick and ailing with a constitution of 8. So learning to play the hand you're given is quite an interesting and exciting part of the game. Early doors, we didn't necessarily see that. And eventually we came up with the sheet that I'm going to show you now, which we developed perhaps 30 years ago, and it's been modified on and off, but it's the sheet we still use. The character I'm going to show you is a character I've generated literally this week for a game I'm starting to play probably just before Christmas. Anyway, that's what we used to do, and that's how we got to where we are doing it. Hey, I hope that helps. Hope you've had a nice time, and I'll chat to you soon. Ta-ra, chucks.